Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations. This week, we got another smooth one for you. But before we get into all of that, Zoe has some shout-outs.
Hey, what's up, y'all? First of all, thank you to all the listeners, man. We appreciate y'all riding with us on this journey. And shout out to Ashley. Happy birthday or happy belated birthday by the time you hear this. Thank you. Love you. All right, let's get into it.
All right, hey, this week, we're going to talk about depression. So strap in. Let the Kings talk about it. Hey folks, welcome back again for another edition of Kingly Conversation. And as I am every single week, I'm Alan.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Twine. Ask me about my podcast, man. You know what time it is. Let's get into it. What up?
It's your friend, your mentor, Calvin D. Hill. That was a good delay. All right,
so who's it ain't my topic. Whose topic is it? It's yours, right?
No, not what depression looks like.
No. It's writing on the wall, but it's about depression.
On the wall.
Oh my Lord!
This one,
See, this
we doing writing on the wall.
Yeah, depression. Yeah.
Well, let's put it up.
You
All right, so
came up
anyway,
with a topic, but I kind of did a little word play with the
right
title.
So I don't understand why the writing is on the wall, but you explained that one to me after I say the reason this topic came up with depression was because it was a TikTok. That's why I saw that. And the guy made a statement of what depression looked like. Mm-hmm. And some of his points were sex drive increase.
Increase or decrease?
Increase. Yeah, see, that's what threw me. Because I can understand a decrease, but increase. And the guy's a licensed therapist and everything else, so he has his credentials. So, but that one was a flag for me. Because I never associated an increase with depression.
Well, till you look at Maslow.
Okay. Then it was loss of motivation, obviously. I got that one. Anger. Again, didn't know anger was associated with depression. Then isolation and withdrawal, I understood that one. Got that one, saw that one. And then a loss of focus, didn't associate that one with depression. So for me, it was somewhat of an eye-opener because I never associated an increase in the sex drive, and he took a little time to explain it, but I never associated that with depression because I have seen all of those signs at one time in my own life, but I felt fine. I was still somewhat. I wasn't down and sad about it, but I had all the other things. That's what I'm saying. I didn't feel. I felt the withdrawal, like okay, I'm backing up, and isolation, but I was fine. I felt like in my mind I was fine.
Okay,
had an increase in sex drive, but in my mind I was fine. Had a loss of focus, like I wasn't as sharp as getting my goals met, but I thought I was fine. But those were signs of depression.
The writing is on the wall. That's why I said. That's why I changed the title to "The Writing Is on the Wall." Can I get one?
Well, look. All right. So, all right.
But
go
all
ahead.
these things that you mentioned, unfortunately, I've seen most of these in my past years. So yeah, definitely. I can understand the sex drive increase because I guess at that point you're just trying to fill a void.
Make me feel good.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Yeah, because they're just trying to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Very
But
nice.
then you feel like trash afterwards, especially if you're out here in these streets.
Okay. See,
You know what I mean?
and then yeah, because I want in the streets, so that's why I couldn't.
Make
So
that
yeah,
connection.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it wasn't okay. That's the issue. you might be depressed because you want to feel good more.
There you go. Yeah.
So if you in the streets, for y'all, some of y'all peoples in the streets, you might need to go see somebody because that could be a sign of depression.
Especially when you got like multiple partners, and that's, you just jumping from one to the other because you're trying to fill a void, because you like you said, you feel like you're okay and you're good, but you're not. You might want to seek some help. Yep. Anger, seen a lot of that.
And I understand that anger, a lot of people say that's one of the first signs. That's how it starts.
But see,
anger. I never,
like you said though, when somebody hears the word depression, they associate it with quietness, meekness, and just
down,
sorrow.
Sad, and feel sorry for yourself. And
I think some of that is what was taught, because I remember when we were in, being deployed and whatever else, they taught us, oh, here are some of the signs of depression. Are they giving away their stuff? Are they doing? And it's like, now we know more. 20 years later, now we know more, and so now the information surrounding whether or not somebody could be depressed is different, and then depression is going to look different for different people in terms of levels of depression. Some people can be, they still doing all the stuff they were doing, but they depressed about it.
Yeah, I get it. So, I mean, I don't really want to, because we got more topics to talk about, which I love. But this next one I'm looking at, I'm kind of jumping ahead, ages that deal with level of depression. I've seen that more young people now are dealing with depression at a high rate, man, at a very high rate. I'm not even going by the scale right here. I'm just going off of what I've seen. Yeah, what I've seen and what I've experienced. It's crazy.
Now, I wish we should have did some research, but I have the question of why do you think that is? What are the factors that's driving kids?
Oh, I know one.
Into this depression.
I perceive to know one.
You see what I'm saying? So what do you think?
Social media.
So
that's what it is. Social media out here got these kids wrapped up.
Wow.
So
wow.
Why social media? Why?
Cut off.
Why? How do you figure social media is causing these kids to be depressed?
If you've seen a documentary on Netflix, I forgot the name of it, but it was a documentary, and it had the engineers of these platforms out here on social media, different social media platforms, and it was breaking down how the younger generation, how they see something and they think in their head and perceive that I'm supposed to be like that, but if I'm not looking like that, or if I don't have that, then I'm not worthy. I'm not worth anything if I'm not what I see on these platforms. So now they get depressed because their hair has to be a certain way, their skin has to look a certain way, their shape in the body has to be a certain way, because they perceive that what they're getting in constantly from social media and these likes or whatever. If you don't get a certain amount of likes, if nobody likes your post, then you're not cool, or you're not pretty enough. There's people that go on social media that will put something up there and say, "Hey guys, I'm not feeling pretty today, and I just feel like I'm just ugly or whatever." And they'll post this picture, and they'll wait. And then they wait for the comments to come in. "Oh, no, you're pretty. Don't worry about it. You're the best. Have a great day." They feed off of that. And if they don't get it, then they feel a certain type of way. I've seen it. It's real out here. This is truth, man. I've seen it personally. Now, after I saw this documentary, I'll get with me later and I can tell you what it is. But it's crazy, and it has these girls and these teenagers, these adolescents, and all. I don't care. It's just out of control, and they feel as if they're not worth anything because they ain't getting no likes.
So let me
they
ask
ain't getting
this
no
question.
followers.
Let me ask this question then.
I'm listening.
What is it then do you think that the current young generation seeks validation more than older generations did, or do you think they just seek their validation in a different way? Because that all of that is just seeking validation.
I will say that it's seeking validation in a different way, because when I was coming up as a adopted child in the system, I seek validation in my own way. I didn't have social media, you know what I mean? So I try to seek validation just by being the class clown or something else like that.
Okay. So what would be something our parents look for as validation? Because now that got my mind going.
What you mean validation? What you mean?
Because that's what Alan. You said
your parents look for. What's
because he said the generations, okay, our teenagers look for validation through social media, right?
They do.
Today.
Yeah.
So if we didn't have it when we were growing up and our parents growing up, where would their validation come from?
I mean, it would have still come from the people around you.
True.
The difference is here's the thing.
Streets.
The streets. The thing I think it does happen. This has not a lot to do with depression anyway, but it's the reason why you become the average of the 5 people that you associate with the most is because it's that need to be that most people have to be liked. That
feel a part of something.
So they start to conform to the group, whatever group that is. If you were if you were a group of people and they all listen to Wu-Tang, guess what you're gonna listen to?
Wu-Tang is forever.
Give it enough time. You're gonna listen to Wu-Tang, and then the group that you are with is going to give you that validation, because now guess what? It's subtle.
Heard a new song?
It's super
so cool.
subtle. Because now y'all are rapping all the same lyrics.
Yeah.
Y'all out here wearing chuckers,
Wallabies.
yeah, and wallabies because Wu-Tang was wearing it. So now the whole crew got on wallabies. And if you the one without the wallabies, you gonna face
sauce.
You gonna face ridicule. So you got the wallabies so that you wouldn't face the ridicule from the group.
So you
Timberland
don't
boots.
get your validation, which leads you into a state of depression.
Yes.
So then you get the wallabies, and now you got validation.
It's a Band-Aid.
Listen, all of this stuff is super complex.
Yeah, everybody might have had a level of degree, or to whatever degree they dealt with that need for validation.
That's like your old dirty bastard stage.
Yeah, I get it, but but that wasn't my group. That's the odd thing.
You sure?
Yeah.
Unless a lot of people you associated with was rocking with it, because I was rocking with it, and we would sing the songs and the lyrics. And
how many people did you associate with? Would be the question
at that time.
2, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing. So here's the thing that I'm never gonna know about that y'all can both speak to. I never grew up in a single community my entire life.
Yeah. See?
So I can't speak to how that changes from kindergarten, 1st, 3rd, 5th into high school, because even though you may know all these people, the people that you're close to is not going to stay the same the whole time. So I can't, and I had to change friends groups every 2 to 4 years
because you were moving.
Because I was moving. So there was no social media at the time. So at best you could be write letters to one another, but most of the time it was relationship done over.
Yeah. Well. Back to depression. All right. Okay. Back to depression. Because I see you about to go off on a tangent.
Yeah. So back to dealing with depression. And
back to depression.
The age group.
You asked me a question, and I answered it as far as how social media is affecting the youth now, as far as seeking validation and becoming depressed because they don't look a certain way via the medias.
Along with that, I think it's also because now, because we have social media, you're able to see things that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, right?
A lot more information, yeah.
I never, unless it was in a magazine like the Robb Report or something like that, I never saw anybody anywhere near my age in the Maldives or, in the Turks and Caicos doing, living a life that I might prefer to live. You were never able to see that.
Right.
Because there was no way unless you knew them personally, there was no way for you to ever see that type of information. So now.
Unless You went to your local grocery store and went to the magazine section and flipped through that without paying for the magazines. Just stand there for about 20,
but then
20 minutes.
there still weren't people in a lot of these things. You know, you would see the Maldives or you would see the big house, but you wouldn't see somebody your age and your ethnic background in the house. And now you are like, well, why can't I have something like that? That wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah. It was just music based as far as what they say. Before they switched over to the bling and the
for sure,
all that other stuff. Yeah, yep. And also, I was going to say that as far as seeking validation, it's crazy because even if the parent is involved, it is still a problem.
Well, you can't be more involved
with depression.
Than that is. You can't be more involved than the world is because they get the world 24/7. They get you for a short window of time.
Can I share something with y'all? This is personal. Can I share something with y'all? It breaks my heart, but my daughter, she loves social media, right? So when she was younger, I'm talking about younger in regards to like maybe between 10 and 13 years old. She was doing things following social media trends at an early age, all right? So in my attempt to chastise, correct, if you will, the issue, the reason why she felt like she needed to do it because she felt like she wasn't loved by her parents. Mm-hmm. Even though
y'all right there telling her.
Right there in the face, telling her on a daily basis and trying to encourage her, she felt as if that wasn't enough validation. It's tough out here, bro. It is tough, and it's gotten worse.
And I don't know.
I'm just about in general.
It's
gotten worse. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And for me, I wouldn't know how to handle a young lady. A daughter.
It don't even got to be a daughter. It could be a son. It could be a daughter. My point is that no matter what you do as a parent with the young generation out here, you can't fight algorithms, bro.
Well, again, I don't see it because I take the device. Take the device.
But
I mean, you can't. Go ahead.
You have to have an understanding as co-parents. There has to be a level of understanding and some kind of form of structure. When that is not there, then you're going to have those battles. And that's why you can't see it because what you got, you know what I'm saying? Yours is a little bit more structured.
I just wonder, because the unfortunate thing, like I guess the good and bad is children are very malleable, right? Mm-hmm. And so what is it that if they are in what as parents, because here's the thing, I can say this for sure, parents and children see life completely differently, right? I mean, I know of stories where the parent was just on hard times and they were, essentially crying, going to their parents' house to try to raid their pantry to get food so they could feed their kids, but their children don't remember it that way. They remember it just going to grandmom's house.
Yeah.
That's and having a good time at grandmom's house. They don't see life the way parents see it. And so sometimes I wonder, in that example that you gave about your daughter, like what was it? Why did she not feel loved? That becomes the question. Doing all that you try to do as a parent, what was it that made her not feel loved?
That's a great question.
And I don't know that the problem is, as a parent, I don't know that you ever gonna get that answer.
You won't.
Maybe
later. When they get older,
when they pat you in the face with it,
and
as long as it's before they pat you in the face with the shovel,
Hopefully, y'all do have a conversation, or if you're listening and you feel a disconnect with your children and they're depressed for whatever reason, I hope that they get therapy and that both co-parents out there see the need for therapy. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, and so like, cause I've been on in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I've been on the internet since '95. Right, that was when I got my first AOL account, and and started meeting people that didn't live anywhere near me, didn't know, would never probably meet or whatever. But I never felt, at least in the home, I never felt any type of disconnect. Now, obviously, today you're just bombarded with so much more stuff than you would have been at the time. But I don't know. The only thing you can do is ask questions and hope you get an answer at some point.
What's over there cooking, Calvin?
Well, again, a lot of stuff I feel I do not completely understand and agree with, because I do feel like the expressions may be different when it comes to being loved and a child receiving love and understanding the definitions of love. Mm-hmm. I think it has to be taught. And like you said, structured environments make a big difference.
I agree.
There's a lot of elements surrounding a child feeling loved. So, and like you said, children don't understand love the way we do as an adult. They think you giving me my way is love. Really.
No,
a lot of
body language. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that, and then the basics of time. How much time, like you said, you really don't get, once your kid gets into the public school system, you really only get 3, at best 4 hours a day with your child. Mm-hmm. And even that time is robbed because you're doing homework, you're doing something that the education system wants you to do to your child, not with your child. Because education is a painful process and people don't even want to acknowledge that. So I feel like a lot of that leads to depression.
Got it.
Because you're forcing something on somebody in an uncomfortable way.
School?
And hey,
listen, well,
and see, and this is what, for each age group has a different level of.
I just can't relate.
Okay, this is why. I'm gonna show you. Okay, because one, everybody learns differently. Mm-hmm. So as a parent, I can't deal with my middle son the way I deal with my younger son because they learn differently. Mm-hmm. And if me as a parent don't take the time to understand the differences and the styles of educating, then I will hurt one of them trying to make both of them learn the same way. That's what happens in the school system. Mm-hmm. Okay? So now they go to school and you have to deal with the social aspect of seeking that validation. Because when they're at school, the school dictates the social
the social construct
dictates the validation. You're not like us. Just like you said, when you listen to Wu-Tang, this is your group, okay, you're with them 6 hours out the day or more. So they dictate the validation, not the parents, not the people that love them, this group. Okay, that's one.
So basically you're saying you're a follower.
No, because nobody's immune to, like he said, the group now dictates. So now I feel like an outsider.
You a sheep.
Okay, so I'm an outsider there.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's right. No, because even if you take that stance, watch what I'm gonna do. So I'm not an outsider. I don't need y'all. Good. I don't need you. I don't want to be around y'all. Right? Mm-hmm. Cool. Because now that attitude goes where? To the next arena, which is different from that arena. So I've now geared myself for 6 to 8 hours of, I don't need you.
Right.
So now I go home with what attitude?
I don't need you.
I don't need you. What did I just do? I just put off, I just isolated, I just withdrew from the people that love me. Mm-hmm. So now I'm in a room by myself and I don't feel loved because I used the validation where I was supposed to, thought that was the group, but I now took that same attitude and used it against the people I love and that love me. And so now I'm in a room by myself, depressed.
Man, get that man a bomb for that one, man. Drop that, man. Nope. All the way. I need a full one.
Yeah. But that's how it goes.
I just saw that whole picture. So, get out my mailbox.
Because I have to deal with kids all the time. Yeah. So I had to figure it out. So that's only one aspect. Yeah. I didn't even go into your grades. I didn't go into your actual education. I didn't go into your learning process.
You just went to the
I just went to
psychological-
in the social aspect of
social,
it.
yeah. Okay.
Because it repeats itself over and over. So I have no source of validation only at certain points. So when I get an A, I got A's. Everybody does what?
Yay.
So
Good
now
job.
that I got an A, I need to get more A's. The problem is, he gets an A. What do I get? I get a C. What does everybody do when you get an A?
Yeah.
I can't get a C because I don't learn the same way.
Oh, you can't get an
I can't get the A.
Yeah, I got you.
So guess what they're doing to me?
Study.
I can't get the validation he gets.
Yeah.
You see that? So now what do? I take that same attitude and I go back home. The home tells me, you didn't get a A. So now what? I'm not clapping for you. Not only am I not clapping for you, I'm going to punish you. I didn't take the time to learn this is how this child learns. And if you get two children in the house that one gets A's and one doesn't, guess what happens? What happens to the other one?
I'll see what you're putting down.
So
But
it
there's-
repeats on that level.
But okay, all right.
I hope
So
it's the right button. Hang on.
Emotional, damn it.
Exactly.
but I understand what you're saying. But like you said, if you learn and you take the time, then that's
But who has to learn? The parents.
that's what I'm saying.
parents.
Right.
That's what I'm referring to.
So how many of us were taught early child
what?
development? None.
None.
Half of us don't have a parent that was in it.
Yeah.
Half of us don't have the education to deal with early children.
Shout out to Ashley.
Okay, so we have created automatic.
A system of
Exactly.
an environment that would help induce depression.
Exactly. So now we have a lot of kids depressed. We don't know why. We don't see it. We don't connect none of the dots.
Yeah.
And now we're saying, you need to. You need to. Yeah, you're right. You need to.
Man, get that man another one, man. This boy on fire today, man. I love it. Good job. Good
But
job,
no, but
Larry.
no, the only reason I saw it because I had to deal with it.
I understand.
I had to keep dealing with it, and I had to figure out, okay, I got a young man in a house with 6 women from ages 40 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
The mother identifies with who?
The women
Okay, so where does that leave the boy?
out back. And I ain't talking about the restaurant.
So when I go to school as a boy, I'm looking for validation from other boys being like what I'm around all day, which were women. So when I go from there to school, I get treated differently for acting like
the boys, all the women.
the women because I'm around them all the time. So when I go over there expecting the same validation that I can't get here for acting like them, I look for it here. What do I get?
Rejection
Rejection. So now I get rejection here.
and at home.
So now where do I go? Now I'm angry. Now I'm depressed.
Now you feel
Now I have a
isolated.
problem.
Yeah.
Now I have isolation. Now what?
Therapy.
How many?
I'm
Yeah,
being
how many?
facetious.
Right.
Let's
How
move on.
many child therapists do you hear about in the school? Because we got school counselors. They can talk to the school counselor. Well, the school counselor has 600 people to follow. Well, they're broken up. Okay, well, you got 100. How many counselors can actually take the time to deal with a child?
How many parents take the time?
Okay, so if you
Yeah, I
got
got
more, okay, so we see how
I see.
our kids are suffering from major depression, major issues. But guess what? Time don't stop for nobody. This child now becomes a what? An adult. So now you got an adult,
Confused, hurt, and angry.
right? So now I got an adult that's dealing with all these issues that never got counseling, never got therapy, didn't even educate themselves on how to deal with their own problems. They have a child because I'm seeking.
Validation through the sex drive increase.
All right, so now that I have that, I got another child at 16. 18, 17, whatever. So guess what's going to happen? I'm going to get this girl pregnant.
Wash,
or whatever
rinse,
else.
and repeat.
All right. So anyway, I mean, I'm not bad, y'all.
No, it's all good. That's what we here for. Good job, Larry. Sock it to me.
All right. So dealing with depression.
All right. So
dealing with depression.
I kind of opened that door when I went to the ages as far as the different levels dealing with depression. As far as some things that can help, I see that you have denial. Are there stages of depression, or what's going on here, Calvin? What are we talking about?
Denial is not just a river in Egypt.
Stop it, sir. No, sir.
No, we're not doing that.
No.
That weak bar. Womp, womp, womp.
No, sir.
Just the river in Egypt.
Nah, bro.
No. Can't let you get away with that one, sir.
Hey, pick the microphone back up, man.
No.
All right, let's move on. Hey, for real. Denial.
Denial. So there are steps, and I don't have them all here, but denial is one of the biggest
factors in. You know what? I'm gonna help you out, man. Tag me in. Tag me in. So first of all, denial is one of the things. I guess a part of depression, because when somebody is depressed, they're stuck in the mud. Paraphrasing, and they feel as if they can't move. They're stuck. So when somebody says, "Hey, man, you got a problem?" No, I don't.
No, it's not a problem.
It's supposed to be this way.
That's right.
Because I've been dealing with it for so long this way. This is just how it's supposed to be. And that's when you get into people who deny that they are in depression. And I was one of those persons. So the bag is out. I said it.
Good for you.
Good job, Fonzo.
Good job.
Hey, they catching on. So anyway, but if you have people, hopefully you will find people around you that would kind of help you with that. Now, there are some people that don't know themselves and they dealing with their own stuff. So they're going to try to diagnose you. And what I mean by that, they try to say, "Oh, you must have bipolar. I seen this. Yeah, man, you must be schizophrenic or something." So you misdiagnosing people. And now those people who are depressed or have a problem, they're going to reject anything that comes their way because they feel a certain type of way. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. When you're dealing with people who are in a situation where they feel, or if they are actually depressed, you don't go to somebody and tell them that they this, that, and the third in a condescending way. They're not going to seek help. They don't want your help. Why would I want help from you? And you just as messed up as I am. Huh? Let's be real, people. Let's just be real about it. So, if you approach it in a loving manner, in a way that you're not trying to be vindictive or revengeful or whatever you want to call it, then maybe that person will get help. There, I said it. Anybody? I'm just saying, because people, you just can't approach everybody the same way.
I mean, that is true.
You can't treat everybody like they're the same.
Just like you can't treat all your kids the same.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's a tie-in.
You can't treat everybody the same, period. But we show, I think, everybody wants everything to be so simple.
Gonna be
exactly. Wu Tang. Wu Tang. But everybody wants everything to be so simple. But everything, as far as I can tell, everything is there's so much intersectionality in this life that makes everything much more complex than you think it is. And we want everything to be yes, no, 1, 2, do this, get that. And that ain't ever what it is. It ain't ever what it is.
I'll tell you what. I was diagnosed with PTSD in like 2014, 2015. Didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it. Because they ain't tell him.
Well,
they might have told me by that.
Well, first of all, they were trying to get in contact with me, but I was like, no, I don't want no help. I'm good. This is how I'm supposed to be out here in these streets.
I'm supposed to be out here.
I'm supposed to be homeless,
broken,
eating out of trash cans. And that's no offense to anybody that's out there, but I was in a situation where I was at a low point in my life, all right, and I didn't need the help, I didn't seek the help because, again, it goes back to the people around you and how they support you or how they don't support you or how they think they're supporting you, but they're really not. So when I did actually seek help. They did diagnose me again for the second time. And then when I went back in my records and saw that, hey, I've been dealing with this for longer than what I thought. So, seeking the help, getting diagnosed, and then the recovery stages. But you got something, Alan?
When you say support, and this is always my thing, like if you're going to support somebody, you got to support them in the way that they need support, not the way you think they need support or the way that you would want to be supported.
That's true.
Because the way that I might need support and the way that Calvin's going to need support is going to be different.
And different for me.
And you got to take that time, but that goes back to, again, just like we were talking about with the kids, that goes back to taking that time.
Educate yourself.
To figure it, to actually figure it, and you have to have the desire to want to figure that out.
I like it. So then we get into the recovery stage. And Calvin, I see you got some notes here. You wanna go through some of those with me? Or?
So the recovery,
okay, all right.
How we try to recover from depression. These are some basic, very simple, very basic things that you should do anyway. A lot of people feel like you should do it, but these also help in the recovery process of dealing with depression and preventive measures,
right,
to stay out of depression. So a big one,
exercise. Yeah,
we gonna make you boys strong.
All right, Major Payne, I'm gonna just say this real quick that even though prior to me getting help, or prior to me getting the therapy and getting diagnosed and all that, before that even happened, it was exercise that helped maintain the little bit of sanity that I do have. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yep. I was going hard in the
because
gym.
that helps you relieve stress.
Hard.
That helps you relieve. It releases endorphins. It relieves stress. It does a lot for your body that we do not. Again, some aren't taught, but it does so much for your body.
It does.
When you exercise regularly, at least 20 minutes a day, whether it's walking, do like Alan and Fonzo, do powerlifting and break your back with 500-pound bars.
I've never broken my back. I've never broken my back, and the bar is not 500 pounds.
And yes, they do. And they
that was
scare people when they go to the gym.
No.
And they shake. They scare the children, so they do not want to go to.
Hey, where were we at, man? Where were we at?
Key West, Florida.
It was Key West, Florida, right?
And
so
all you hear
I was out. They wouldn't let me go back.
That's not what.
They really wouldn't let me go back.
That's not what we doing. That's not what we doing.
They wouldn't let me go back. They wouldn't let me go. I was doing some crazy stuff though, man. I was trying to lift the school bus with kids in it, man.
Like
a lot of pent up stuff
people.
going on.
I did, bro. And that's before I got the help though. But see,
you don't have to be these power lifters here.
Look, here's the thing.
You don't have to do that. You can do regular normal people like me.
Here's the thing.
Don't fall for the mousetrap, man.
You do something that you will do for the rest of your life. Whatever that is, do that. So if you start walking like, I don't really like this, then try something else. Mm-hmm. Maybe try jogging, try an elliptical, try maybe, bicycle, walking steps or running steps at a stadium if there's one nearby.
Peloton.
But do something. And that's the reason why. So Calvin gives us a hard time, but that's the reason I lift the way I lift, because I can tell you right now, I ain't running nobody's nowhere. So you can keep that. I hated running when I was in the Marine Corps, so I certainly ain't gonna run as a civilian.
So he pushes school buses.
So, but I love feeling extremely strong, and maybe that's something I need to see a therapist for. But I love chasing that additional 2.5 pounds in the gym.
On each side,
and on each side,
that's
and I love lifting heavy. But I've always liked lifting weights. Even when I was in high school, I liked lifting weights. I just wasn't committed to lifting weights.
All right, so we got eating healthy.
And eating healthy. Eat a way that you will eat for the rest of your life. Like people try to make changes for a specific thing. It's like, no, this is forever. Like, make a change that you're saying I can. Like,
This
if
my
you want to go
lifestyle.
vegan, this is my lifestyle now. I'm vegan. You vegetarian? I'm vegetarian. Not I'm vegetarian for a couple weeks,
Right.
and then I'm about to have this ribeye. Like,
With nacho cheese sauce.
I like eat the way that's going that because here's what we know for sure. As long as you ain't out here getting a ton of processed food, all of the diets you heard about
Temporary.
are going to do you good. No, they're not temporary.
Well,
Like if you've heard of carnivore, there are people that have eaten carnivore their entire life, no problem, no issue. You also need to figure out your body.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's
Because
different.
your body is not going to be the same as his body.
yeah, I ain't lifting 500 pounds and been
Moving on. So
I mean,
getting
you
us
also a cross country runner. I was never going to be a cross
cross
country runner.
country.
I'm driving cross country. I ain't running nowhere that far.
KFC. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't eat that. So getting enough sleep is very important. I found that out.
Now, this is a tricky one because on average, they say it's recommended 8 hours of sleep.
That's what they recommend.
Some people do not follow that one. They just get 4 to 5 and they're fine and they can go all day.
Guess what I'm going to tell you? You ready?
What?
Get the amount of sleep your body requires.
Yeah, and there's different levels of sleep too.
I know because some people need 12. And
No,
it's
I'm
crazy.
just saying. Well, that is true, but I'm saying different levels. As in, for me personally, if I don't sleep with a breathing apparatus, then I get sleep, but it's not good.
solid.
It's
Do
not
you-
rest.
If you have the ability, track your sleep.
Yeah, track your sleep, man.
You could track it on like a smart watch.
I took it off. I
Yeah.
try that. I'm gonna try
I
that.
can't go into a deep sleep without the machine, but with it, I get. Even if I got me getting 6 hours of sleep off the machine versus on a machine, totally different.
I'm sure.
So
Because you're
it's
not
like
waking.
night-
You're not
night
doing
and
those
day.
micro wake ups. All through the night.
I'm not dying 100 something times a night.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Anyway,
All
moving
right.
on.
Challenge negative thoughts. Challenge your negative thoughts.
That's tough for me, but I get through it.
And that for me is making affirmations, positive affirmations, and speaking positive to yourself. That's important. The one I do. I even do this now every now and again. The one Brian Tracy said. He was like, look in the mirror and sit there and be like, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself.
Yeah,
But he said it so much.
like
And he
myself.
said, and eventually, if you do it looking at the mirror, you're going to look stupid and it feels uncomfortable.
Ain't nobody
But
watching.
eventually, you're going to laugh.
For God.
And once you laugh and you smile, you know it's working. So that's one I have done for years now. And it is effective. It's very effective.
Okay.
All right. Next one. So talking about recovering from depression. Check with your doctor before you're using supplements.
I ain't
I won't.
and ain't
And ain't.
Gaines. I'm from Gainesville.
Check
gym
with your doctor.
Is that way?
Please, CT.
They steal your set, mother. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm moving on.
yeah.
I'm moving on.
Hey, I'm gonna command you
I
to
go-
grow with these
I
supplements,
go
man.
to the doctor, and the doctor tells
Hey,
me
can we
I
just wrap?
shouldn't do it.
Oh man, we got okay.
All right,
so
wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. But I do want to talk or hit this keynote right here. Avoid alcohol and drugs. Can I get personal with y'all?
Go ahead.
Anytime, when I was in my depressed states, I would go to drinking as a way of trying to ease the pain and mute the thoughts, the negative thoughts in my head. It was bad, y'all. It's bad out here in these streets. But I've learned now that when I feel a certain type of way, I don't go to that anymore because it's just not a good look, especially when you got a family, man. If you by yourself, I wouldn't even recommend it that if you single either, man. It's just a bad look. Just my own personal perspective, my own personal, I guess, things that I went through. So I would recommend avoiding drugs, avoiding alcohol in these states of depression. It may feel that you're going in the right direction, but it's personally, it was just making me go in a downward spiral. So I encourage you to not do such, find something new to kind of cope with that, and keep it pushing, man. Keep your head up. That's all I got.
A little tidbit, and right before we close, the brain doesn't know the difference between emotional pain and physical pain. Alcohol works both ways in dealing with pain by numbing it. So oftentimes, like he said, alcohol can be a go-to to numb the pain. So be aware of that. Also, schedule pleasant activities or events. You should have regular time, like during the week. I just told my mentors at Oh Lord that you should take and schedule no less than 1 hour a week. Have a weekly meeting with yourself just to do something you enjoy. You and you alone. Just to relax, unwind, evaluate your week. You should do that and make that priority. Okay? Focus relationships. And this is what I'm focusing on this year, particularly with my loved ones. I want to strengthen all of my relationships over this year. So focus on the positive relationships that you do have. Every relationship you have is not positive. Admit it. Just go through some people. These people drain me. Hey, do not foster those relationships.
You will get cut off.
Give rid of that junk. Give rid of that junk.
With no hesitation.
Yeah,
Keep my scissors sharp.
You have to.
I got my K-bar too.
All right, so fellas, get closing, encouraging words, leave them something to help deal with this depression. And this is not catch-all, be-all. People just touching on it, talking about it.
Especially none of us have credentials, so.
No, not at all.
So,
how about I just have
our own experiences?
I just have my own personal experiences. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. In closing, depression is real, people. And if you know someone and you see the writing on the wall, learn to deal with them and learn how to encourage them the way they need to be encouraged, not the way you perceive it to be. All right?
I mean, along the same lines, just because the problem is depression doesn't look like what a lot of the time mainstream has told us it looks like, and you need to be a better friend so that you know when those, like, say something's going on here. What's up? What's happening? And just be somebody that somebody can lean on and can call on when they need to.
Calvin?
That's it.
Yeet.
Y'all have a good one. Love y'all.
See y'all next week.
Yeah. That's nice.